don't even know who invented Python. These days, these things are very much a teamwork because they're so big and complex. But I'm sure they're continuing to work on some interesting projects.
Oh yeah.
What other modules come with Python? I guess Cameron. I guess you're referring to like the turtle module. Yeah, there are many modules. One other module you will use is the math module, which has all these math functions like calculating the absolute value or the square root, calculating trigonometric functions.
Aren't those things already in shell?
Nothing is in shell. They're all in Python.
You guys asking what?
Some stuff are already there in Python, like the round. Round is already in Python. All these operators, multiply, divide, they're already in Python.
Right, but the turtle.
Just an idle.
Turtle, you have to import.
Just an idle.
Import. Yeah. So you also import the math module if you want to do a square root in your program. And how do you find the correct position of the turtle in the graphics window? You will just have to guess, because you know the middle is 0, 0, okay? And you know how wide the window is, how high the window is, width and length. So you just have to guess. Does it matter which one we use, idle or JGrasp? No, it doesn't. Because the program you come up with will still be the same. The code will be the same. JGrasp can cause some problem with turtle graphics. That's why idle may be your preferred option, at least when you're using graphics.
So you got all your setup?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, turtle.circle 45. This is Heather Hawk. Turtle.45 circle. We call these values inside the parentheses, there is a name for them, parameter or argument. Okay, so this 45 value is the radius. That is the radius. Okay, can we do the quiz after the material is covered? No. No, you can't. Okay, well, the reason we do it before is to make people read up in advance. Otherwise, nobody does. In all my years, I've always had this line in the syllabus, please read ahead. You know, nobody ever bothers. So, but the quizzes, if you read up, you won't find them too hard. And I try not to set hard quizzes. I do try to set questions that highlight specific issues that are important. Okay, and I'll give you a hint. Most of the quizzes are often taken from the online test that I showed you the other day in the publisher's website. Okay. Let me show you. Yes. I think it's yang.cs.
downloaded information in the wrong order. The key and
There's three, so it's not complete.
Okay. So it's cs.armstrong.edu/lian/pi, and here you find all sorts of stuff.
What is that?
including the PowerPoints. This is the publisher's website,
Oh, okay.
and you can go into tests, and you will see questions for each section, like
Oh, for each one, okay.
for each chapter and for each section. It's a little slow. Yes.
Are you gonna put like the deadlines of those only in the PowerPoints, or is there like
Deadlines for?
for the my programming assignments?
Yeah, I will post them
Okay.
also in Google View.
Okay.
So we have one due tomorrow, right? First one's due tomorrow.
We'll have to look in the Cougar View, the last slide.
Well, remember there was that confusion with it saying 2.9 and 2.10, but the title was for 2.8.
Yeah, we corrected that, didn't we?
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were gonna put them like on the calendar or something like that, or are they
Not
gonna be
on
in
the
the actual
calendar,
article?
but on the in news. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did that last semester.
Okay.
It's just that I haven't done that yet this
Okay.
semester. I was waiting for you to start. You know. Okay. So you see, these are the quizzes here. See, if you work through these, you will definitely do better if you work through these. And these are, you see, the sections are also mentioned. See, if I say, read up sections 3.3, 4, 5, quizzes will be based on these sections. You should go through those sections definitely, as well as reading through the book and the PowerPoints. You will do well. Sure.
In my program lab, are the sections locked before you assign them, or can we go to the sections like you were doing interview?
Sessions?
Yeah.
No, they won't be locked.
They're not locked?
No. So if you miss the deadline, as I said the other day, you should still go in and do it.
Okay.
It will just be tagged as late.
We'll talk to you after class, because mine, I can't do anything, like, nothing showing up, so I'll show you after class.
Okay. All right. So, okay. When would you use the modulus operator? This was Avery's question. Yeah, the modulus operator is quite useful. You can do different things. One of the things that the modulus operator is used quite often is when you want to cycle through a sequence, like you go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then after 7 you want to come back to 1 again. Okay. You can put a modulus. So you also want to generate, let's say, the 7 days of the week. Okay, the days, and in programming, the first thing is numbered 0, not 1. That's something that we need to get used to. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Represent first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Now, if you do mod 7, any number, okay, 10 modulus 7 gives you how much? 3, 11, will give you 4. You will reach a point where you will get a 0. Where will you get a 0? If you when it's a multiple of 7, right? When it will be a multiple of 7, you will get a 0, because then 7 goes into that number, no remainder. After that, you will get 1 again. So let's say you get 14 modulus 7, you get 0. And then 15 modulus 7 or remainder 7 gives you 1. And it repeats the whole sequence 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay?
So we use mod a lot with time.
Yeah, you can do it for
long
converting
time.
seconds into minutes, hours, minutes, and seconds. Also for separating out digits in a number, like given any number, let's say 21. Okay, you can do a modulus 10, and that will give you 1. Okay. That is the first digit. You can separate out the first digit always by doing a modulus 10.
Right.
And we'll have more examples as we go. I'll try to bring another more interesting example for you next time. What is the best way to learn most or all of the functions used in Python? This is Justin's question. Justin here? It's a good question. First of all, you will never need to learn all of the functions. Okay? Not even most of the functions. And second thing is, you never need to go into a big fat book which lists all the functions and read through to learn all the functions. You will learn them as you need them and use them. Okay? So as we go through week by week, topic by topic, you will be learning new functions and using them and hopefully remember them. That's how we
Yeah, there's a lot of functions in there.
Simply because there is so much stuff that nobody ever even thinks about learning all of them by just reading through. Okay? Where do we find the turtle file? Matthew Stan?
Yes.
Well, we just import it by
Um,
saying import turtle.
You just type import turtle and
Yeah,
like that.
that's it. When you install Python, it would got installed with all these modules. You just have to ask for it. Okay. Here it talks about identifiers. All these things that we've been through already, expressions, assignment. Simultaneous assignment, don't worry about it, okay? I have no idea why the author decided to include these things, which unnecessarily gets in the way of understanding, learning the most important.
Oh, it was on the chat that you're talking about?
Yeah, named constants. Okay, make sure you know all these operators. Okay? Well, and you can evaluate expressions involving different operators correctly, because you're going to get asked in quizzes and exams about evaluating expressions. Scientific notation, not that important at this stage. Go through the examples. Although nobody has ever learned programming by reading programs. Okay, it's only by writing your own program that you learn, but it won't do any harm if you look at examples and see what you find interesting. So, okay, so that's chapter 2, and very quickly, chapter 3. It introduces all the math functions, and it also introduces strings, which is very important. We've been talking about strings already, so you are already familiar with the idea of strings and how to use them. So these are all math functions. Interesting, there is one called POW. Nothing to do with wars. It's power of, it's POW for power. Okay, the first 3 letters of power. 2, 3 is same as that. But it's worth remembering this because that's how you have it in Java, in CS2. Any questions about any of these operators?
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, a lot. Look at these. These are all the less used functions. Some of them are quite well known, like the square root. Okay, these are the math functions. If you want to use them, you say import math. You have to import the math module. Choose these. Okay. Now, strings, we can have a string with just one character, or we can, more typically, we would have multiple characters in a string, and you can use either single quotes or double quotes to write a string. To be consistent, what I would suggest you do is for single character strings, just use a single quote. And for multiple characters, just use double quote. Because in Java, characters are distinguished from strings. A single character is written with a single quote. Aha, binary numbers again. Okay, just when you thought you were safe, it's back. So read it, maybe it will help cement your understanding. You have pretty good understanding already, I hope. And then look at these derivations. You may have copied something like this from the board the other day. An Ascii code, Unicode. Characters, okay, we know, we just heard, if I type 5 into the keyboard, it does not send the value 5, it sends the character 5 until it gets converted by the int function. But then, before it gets converted, how is it stored in the memory? If you are able to look into that memory location where that character 5 is stored, what would you see? You would see some zeros and ones for sure, because everything is zeros and ones. But what would be the exact pattern? That is the code. So everything, every character on your keyboard has a code, an underlying code. That is either ASCII or Unicode. Now Unicode is relatively new, but it's now becoming universal. I mean, Uni stands for universal. It's a 16-bit or more coding scheme, whereas ASCII is an 8-bit coding scheme. Why did we need, and just to give some idea of the ASCII code. Take any letter, like the letter G. Okay, what is the ASCII code? It's the binary equivalent of 71. 71. What is the ASCII code for the letter 5? Is, what do you think? 53. So whatever 53 is in binary, ones and zeros, will be stored for the character 5. Okay? And you can see that it's not just the letters and the symbols that you can see, but even keys like backspace, tab, escape, they all have a code for them. Those are called non-printing characters, including the space key. So we can get the ASCII code very easily. Let me show you. Okay, I don't know if you can read it. Let me quickly change the font size, make it bigger. Okay, so ASCII for 5, we just say or 5. Note how I've written 5 with quotes to indicate that it's the character 5. 53 is the ASCII for 5. Even, yeah, so 5 is actually stored as 53, the character 5. And you can get given any number, if you want to know, is 98 the code for something? Type char. This is a function. We call it char function. 98 happens to be the code for small b, lowercase b. You will get that, and we can verify that.
So did that inverse?
Yeah, they're complementary.
So like you put 53.
Yeah, which is like if we now do 53, we get 5. Okay. All right. Let's leave it for tonight, and I will post homework tonight, so you will see it in Cougar View. And you all have a good weekend, and work on the second assignment.